Hi all, welcome to the Young People in Community Broadcasting webinar. It's 6:29. We'll just wait a couple more minutes in case a few people are coming in. Had a few technical difficulties getting on air tonight, so hopefully nobody else has experienced the same thing or is experiencing the same thing. But welcome to the webinar. My name is Holly Freelander Liddycote. I am the Marketing and Engagement Assistant here at the CBAA. A big shout out to Danny Chifley, who will be helping me tonight, and the CMTO, and Pip Eunice, of course, the youth representative for the CBAA. As you'll see on your screen there, we've also got another webinar coming up at the end of November, your guide to the community radio station health check, which is all about good governance and a great tool that we'll be launching at the CBAA conference, also in November. But tonight's webinar, we'll be looking at sort of young people in community broadcasting and the issues that affect them at both a station and a sector level. And it sort of offers a bit of a forum for young people to discuss issues of relevance to them in the sector, but also in the lead up to the conference, where there'll be a youth forum on the Saturday during the lunchtime. So that's sort of a bit of an avenue for discussion there, and I'm sure Pip will talk about that a little bit later on. Do you want to hit that slide, Danny Chifley? So the CBAA conference is coming up 9th to 12th of November 2017 on the sunny Gold Coast. As I said, the youth forum will be on the Saturday the 11th at lunchtime. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please do. You can register online at cbaa.org.au/conference. Chelsea Dealey has arrived to the webinar. Welcome, Chelsea. Good to see you tonight. So this session will provide an opportunity for young people in community broadcasting to discuss ideas and issues of relevance to them or to you or to us at a station and a sector level, and of course set the agenda for the youth forum. It will be presented tonight by Pip Eunice. So she's the CBAA youth representative. Pip holds a passion for community broadcasting and has dedicated her time and experience to making a contribution to supporting young people in the sector. Having finished a Bachelor of Strategic Communication at La Trobe University in 2014, Pip took on the opportunity to work casually as a producer at ABC Central Victoria, while also volunteering at Phoenix FM in Bendigo. She then worked for Southern Cross Austereo as a news journalist based in Mildura, covering both Mildura and Mount Gambier areas before moving back to community radio. So we'll hand it over to Pip to kick tonight's session off. This session will also be recorded tonight in case you need to watch it back again, or if you'd like to pass it on to anyone else at your station or that you know. Pip, we'll hand it over to you.
Hi everyone, welcome to Young People in Community Broadcasting. Thanks for coming. I know there's not many of you here today, but that's fine. We've got lots to get through and it's all very exciting. So I hope you can see my screen okay. I am looking forward to telling you a little bit about what's going on around the place. Thanks Holly for the intro, that was awesome. Just wanted to start off, I know we don't have many people, but I just wanted to see where you guys were all from and what stations and what locations you were from. Maybe. East side, awesome, okay, cool. At AMRAP, great. Chelsea, are you going to come to conference? Awesome, I'll see you there. I think I've met you before actually. Losing my mind. Hi also to Greg. Hey Jack. Emma, nice to see you again. And of course Danny, thank you for helping out. I am also formerly from SYN, so I've had a bit of experience with young people, and I'm really looking forward to going to the conference and seeing what everyone's got to chat about and what we sort of want to discuss. So that's what I really want to bring up today, is what sort of things you're looking for. And I've got a few questions to ask about you personally, about how you're going at your station and how it's all going there. We've got some polls, but I don't think we're going to be doing them anymore, so that's fine. Are you a young person, or are you looking to get involved? Or are you looking for young people to get involved at your station? Just let me know and we'll sort of see how we're going. We've got the polls. Thank you, Danny. You just got to select one of the following options. I'm a young person, or I am looking to get more info. I'm looking to get more young people involved at my station. I'm not sure if they're working. I don't know how to see the answers, Danny.
Danny is pulling the answers up now.
I'll just turn my mic on briefly. For this, 75% young people, 50% are looking to get more young people there at their station. Was that the answers you were after? Sorry, I was just away from my desk for a second. Excellent, excellent. And I'll close that poll now. Oh, the poll's closed already. Thank you very much. Mic off.
So that's good to know. Do you find it hard to get young people into your station, for that 50% of people who are looking to get more people involved? You can just answer in the little chat box on the right. Or you can answer the poll that we already set up. Thank you, Danny.
And I'm going to close that poll now.
Cool. Yes. Okay, great. So if you're unsure, as it's something that you're not actively engaged in, I think you should definitely come along to the Young People in Community Broadcasting, the youth luncheon on Saturday at the conference if you're coming along. Otherwise, you can send me an email anytime. I've got my details at the end of this presentation, and I've also got a phone, obviously, and you can give me a ring at any stage and we can have a chat about it. I think it's really important to get young people involved in community radio, because you really want to ensure that there is a range of people, and you need opinions from every age group, I think. And it's really beneficial to have that varied opinion, and also to have some, I can't think of the words that I'm trying to say, sorry. I think it's really important, because it's fantastic to have, so you want to sort of have some succession planning in place, and you need to have young people to keep the station going. So now we're going to move on to our next poll. Danny?
Launch.
Hey, do you think young people feel welcome at your station? So I'm going to use all of the answers that we've got today from the polls to help form what we're going to talk about at the conference. Obviously, everyone is welcome to come along. It's going to be a bit of a general chat. I'll probably get up at the beginning and just sort of intro everything, and then we'll go from there and have some discussion. I think it's really important to hear everyone's ideas, so that is going to be a thing that we're going to be doing.
Oh, man. And, okay. Am I launching the next poll? There we go.
And has your station done anything to encourage young people to join? If you have done some things to encourage people, what sort of things have you done? Have you made Facebook accounts, maybe Twitter accounts, any social media really? Have you gone to schools, advertised in local, trading post type things? Is there anything that you've done actively to seek young people? Great. Was that all of the polls, Danny? I can't remember. Oh, there's another one. Do you feel comfortable voicing your opinion at your station? Do you think it's hard for a young person, if you are one of the young people from a station, to voice your opinion? Do you feel like you are sometimes judged because you are younger and you don't have the experience that other people may have at the station? Or do you feel like young people at your station don't really care and don't really want to say anything?
And
Awesome. Is that the last one, Danny?
that is the last one. Oh.
Great. Okay, so we're going to move on. Is there anything that you really want to see covered at conference this year? Do you think there's anything missing or more information that you want to gain from me and some of my expertise and some research that I can do to sort of tell you a little bit more about how to get young people involved? I've also included some handy links that are coming up that will tell you a bit more about how to get young people involved and for young people to get more involved as well. So if you want to sort of let me know in the chat box if you have any topics that you want to see at the conference in the youth forum.
It's worth noting that Greg Hall has said in relationship to whether young people are welcome at the station, he likes to think that they are. And I think sort of that's one of the good things about community broadcasting.
Great. Greg, where are you from? Sorry, I missed that before. Holly has said connecting across the country to support each other would be great. And ideas for engaging with young people would be good. Awesome. So we have got a Facebook page that I have forgotten to link in the handy links thing, but I will pop it up on, I'll send it to Danny and he can pop it in the recording of this. And that's a really great resource to come together. We'll definitely be letting everyone know about that during the conference and making sure that everyone is connected via the Facebook and social media. I'm also more than happy to have a chat one-on-one at the conference if you're going to be there. Otherwise, you can always just give me a call anytime. And I think it's a great idea to bring some really solid ideas for engaging young people to the conference and really helping people get along. I think is there a session at the conference, Danny, and Holly, that is related to young people specifically other than youth forum?
Yeah, there'll be an engaging young people at your station session, which is run by a couple of people from SYN, actually. There'll also be a bloke, the station manager of Alive 905 from Sydney, and Dylan, who's from an Indigenous station who's worked closely with SYN Nation, as I believe. So there'll be a few young people on a really awesome panel talking about that particular topic. I can't remember if it's the Friday or the Saturday off the top of my head, but yeah, it looks good.
Awesome. So that's going to go specifically to this. Yes, Danny.
The Facebook group you were referring to was the Young People in Community Media group. That's the one. Excellent. I'm just going to see if it'll let me share this group, and I'll put the link in the window. It's allowing me to share it on my timeline. Is it obvious that I'm not a member of the youth?
It's just a really great resource for young people to share their ideas and sort of bounce off each other. I'm really going to try and push it at the conference and make sure that people know that it is a thing that we have access to and that people should feel comfortable posting in it a bit more regularly, because it's sort of only certain people from certain stations seem to post, and it'd be good to get a big range of people from across Australia posting. So here are some handy links. I know this is probably going to be a really short webinar because there's not too many people and there's no real questions that we need to answer right now. This is more setting up how we're going to present the youth forum. But I've got some handy links here. I found some, obviously, the 5 tips for engaging young people at your station from SYN's General Manager, Tess Lawley. That is up on this presentation that I will be sending through. The NEMBC had Next Generation Media that sounds really awesome and should definitely have a read through. It's a little bit dated, but it's really great and worth checking out. Also, YACVIC, they're really awesome. They're the Youth Advisory Council for Victoria, and they are all about, obviously, young people. And it's a little presentation, it's a little sort of page to check out that talks about youth participation and engagement, and it explains some ways to engage young people, and there's some really handy links on that page as well. So I'd recommend having a look at that if you're struggling at your station. And lastly, I've only got one more slide left. Please pop your questions into the chat box if you have anything that you want me to answer now. Otherwise, I will see you at conference, or you can jump onto the internet and send me an email. It's just pip.eunice@hotmail.com. We can have a chat anytime and organise a phone call if you need some more assistance. I'm also going to be at conference the whole time. I'll be there from Thursday until Sunday, so just grab me if you need any assistance, and I'd be more than happy to help out in any way that I can. And I've got lots of contacts as well, so you can ask me for people from anywhere and I can help out. That's about all for me. Is there anything else that we want to cover, Holly and Danny?
Thanks, Pip. Danny, you're not a youth.
I know I'm not a youth, but as part of my role of being an old person and trying to fit in, I'm going to come up with cool concepts to discuss. Pip, has there been any talk of a possible agenda for the youth forum to take place at the CBAA conference?
There has not been any talk. I'm just in the process of sort of setting it all up. So after tonight, I just wanted to see if there were any other things that I had missed in my ideas, and make sure I cover them.
Excellent. No, I'd suggest that you probably haven't missed anything, and it's very possible that, although obviously need to remain vigilant that they feel valued and are contributing to the sector, that it's that people there in the youth know that the community broadcasting sector is there for them. As someone who was a youth once, I think the strength of the sector totally relies on the fact that there's youth involved. The way the I guess music curation and everything is going, and online and so on and so forth, it's absolutely vital for the viability of the sector that youth are actively involved.
I agree.
Hey Pip, something that came up in last year's conference that has really sort of resonated with me, and sort of I keep coming back to, was this idea of reverse mentoring. So obviously that can work in a few ways, but the example that was used at conference was the idea of having someone, a young person and somebody who's a bit older, and having them mentor each other, and that can be a really great way to sort of pass on institutional knowledge, but also maybe sort of new trends in technology or whatever it may be. I wonder if this is something we can sort of discuss at the Youth Forum, and how we could sort of potentially make this a possibility in the sector.
I think that's a fantastic idea, Holly. I think I heard that as well, and I haven't thought about it until then. That is a fantastic idea, and I think that we will definitely be putting that up in the agenda. I think it's really important for young people to share their skills as we've all sort of grown up in the age of technology with the computers and the internet and everything, and sharing that with people that may not be as familiar with it as us, and also helping them get sort of feel more comfortable chatting to young people as well. I know that sounds really weird, but I think sometimes people young people especially, get a bit of a stigma around them that we're just bad youths, but we're not all bad, and we can help. I think it's important that we sort of get rid of those ideas in people's heads and really help out. And there are some fantastic people in the community, and really love to, share our ideas and help out each other. And of course,
yeah. You go, Pip.
Sorry, we can't definitely not discount the value of the older people, but I think it's really important that we both share younger people's views and older people's views, and ensure that they both get to learn from each other, because I think young people take the older generation of broadcasters for granted, and it's really important that they don't do that, because you guys have got such fantastic experience and we can really learn from it. And I think that's one of the most important things about this mentoring.
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely going to say the same thing, and I really like the idea of institutional knowledge and how we can sort of find ways to pass that on in the sector, because I think succession planning is something that maybe we struggle as, especially when we're at volunteer-run stations. There's not a lot of resources, so how do we pass on that information? I know that if Danny Chifley died tomorrow, I would not have access to his brain, unfortunately.
And he might. He's old.
Another question I have for you, Pip, something that I work with stations often is about sort of social media and encouraging stations to utilize those channels, even if it's just Facebook, as sort of a preliminary point in terms of community engagement and accessing communities. And sometimes I get the response that people don't believe in Facebook, and trust me, there are a lot of issues with Facebook, don't get me wrong. But I wonder, how have you ever sort of come across this, maybe a reservation to use social media platforms, and how do you sort of access that or express the value of them to people, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I was at Phoenix FM for a little while, when I was at uni, there was some issues with the Facebook page, and everyone sort of thought that it was a bit too difficult to get into. But I think in this day and age, especially in 2017, Facebook is one of the biggest ways that people communicate. I know several people that don't look at news any other way, and they don't find things. Thanks for coming, Greg. And I really think that it's important that we all share the skills and the knowledge and learn from each other from Facebook, because, yeah, it is one of the biggest communicators in the world, really, at the moment, and it's important that everyone is on it. And I also think that encouraging with the reverse mentoring, I think we can see this working really well hand in hand with social media, and ensuring that they both the younger generations and older generations work together to create a really awesome Facebook page for your station, because it is important.
Totally. And I just saw as well that Chelsea jumped in the chat box and said she'd like to talk about how young people can deal with station management better in terms of potentially putting ideas forward. And it's something we talked about in the Women's Forum last week, was about the confidence gap. And I wonder if there's a similar kind of confidence gap with sort of young people and older generations, especially when you feel inexperienced or new to a station or a sector or anything like this. So do you have any sort of tips for how young people can address that confidence gap?
Yeah, for sure. I personally can't imagine going into a station as a young person and not feeling comfortable. And I hope that every young person that does volunteer at a station does feel comfortable at all times around the age ranges that are at stations. I think from personal experience, I found it really helpful to sort of build a rapport with the station managers and make sure that they knew who I was, and that I was sort of that I was confident but not cocky in what I could do, and that I could learn from them. I know not all station managers have the time, but the stations that I volunteered at when I was younger were smaller stations, and they were really great and really helped me learn, and sort of they didn't hold my hand and they didn't push me into the deep end when it came to doing my own show or anything like that. They really sort of nurtured me into it, and it was fantastic. So I hope that everyone gets the opportunity to have that sort of support. But I think it's important that if you feel as though your station manager is maybe intimidating, or you just don't feel comfortable speaking to them, maybe find someone else at the station that you do feel comfortable speaking to, and have a bit of a chat to them about how they go about talking to your manager. To your station manager, and maybe use some of the tricks that they have up their sleeve to approach them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's such a good idea. I've definitely found some mentors in my experience who really helped me and that I can turn to ask for questions or advice perhaps before going to management or station management, which has always been really helpful. And I have one more question for you. Another query that I often, or something that maybe I sometimes hear from stations, especially regional stations, and who may be a bit more from smaller populations and so challenged to get resources like people through the door, is that sometimes there's some frustration that training exists, especially for young people, and then maybe the young people come, they get the training, and then they move on, they move out of the area maybe, or they get a job or whatever it may be. And I understand, I can only empathize that it's frustrating having a constant turnover of volunteers. But do you have any sort of thing that you would say there, or maybe ideas about retention that you would advise or suggest?
Yeah, so working at CN, I saw a ridiculous amount of turnover. Young people come in and go within between probably a couple of months of doing their training to a couple of years. And I think that it's kind of hard to really nail down young people because they are just starting off their lives and they do want to do those things where they can go from university to a job in a different town and not have to worry about their commitments. But I also think that it's important that they do honour those commitments while they are in that town. So ensuring that they feel comfortable in the space and that they have the ability to sort of make their own content and make a name for themselves at the station if they want that. I know journalism students really love getting their voice on air and presenting packages and stories and things, and they keep that for their show reel and they put that towards their experience when they're applying for jobs. So it's really great to sort of push the career aspect of things if your volunteers are looking to be in the media at some stage, which a lot of young people seem to be doing at the moment. And it's a great way to volunteer at a station is to gain experience, and that's some of the best experience you can gain really is practical.
Yeah, definitely. And I know it's really important. I was very lucky sort of not to ever have to do any internships, but did volunteer at stations and things like this. And everything that I learned has sort of helped me get to where I'm at. And I think that's potentially a new common thread between other friends and young people that I know about just wanting to get hands-on experience, especially in an age where people learn so quickly. So yeah, anyway, it is almost 7. If there's no more questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. But if not, thank you so much for joining us. This, as I said, will be recorded. We'll pop it online and we'll also send you out an email. So you've got the recording there in your chat box, in your inbox, sorry. Please feel free to share it with any other young people at your station or that you know, or people who might be interested in either attracting more young people to the station or getting involved in broadcasting themselves. Maybe they're not already. Pip will put together a bit of an agenda for conference. So if you'll be joining us, I look forward to meeting you. Please come up and say hi to myself and to Pip and to Danny coughing in the background. God, he's old, isn't he?
That's so unfair.
We just started comedy.
So much fun. Definitely come up to us and have a chat at the conference. Holly is also a youth, so she knows these things, and she does work for the CBAA, so she knows a lot. Danny is no longer a youth, but he is one of those reverse mentor people, so you maybe learn some things from him because he's a little bit older than us and he knows lots of things.
Oh. Can you all get off my lawn?
Thanks for coming along, Emma, Chelsea, and Jack, and really looking forward to catching up with you all at conference. And Jack, I'm sure I'll see you around the city at some stage.
Thank you all. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and as you can see there, Pip's got her address there if you've got any queries. But if you've got any queries about sector-related things, please feel free to give us a call at the CBAA. You can ask for Danny or myself, and you can always send us an email as well. Thanks so much. Have a lovely evening.